Alright, boys and girls, we are back with another 2025 AFL tips and predictions, and I just gotta say, man, I get surprised every single week by these teams. I think this year's been one of the most even years I have seen in a while. I feel like you kind of say that every year for the last couple, that each season is getting, it feels like more and more even, and then you've just got like the bottom three, bottom four teams who are just absolutely terrible, and that's what this season legitimately does feel like. Again, we had some really weird games, like North Melbourne contesting Essendon, only losing by 3 points. St Kilda beating Fremantle by over 60 points. Western Bulldogs winning by 90 points. Adelaide completely just dominating Carlton. Like, so many, I don't want to say full surprises, but I think like that Fremantle one was definitely a shock. So, you know, I'm gonna try my best today to do my tips and predictions. I don't know how many are gonna be right, how many are gonna look good, whatever it might be. But we're gonna be starting off here with Fremantle versus Collingwood on Thursday night. And I mean, let's all be honest here. I think we're all pretty shocked about what we've seen from the Collingwood Football Club. You know, just dominating so many teams, just barely losing to Geelong. I mean, I had them in the top 8, but God, I didn't know they would. They're pretty clear. Like, them and Brisbane are pretty clear, I think, above the rest right now as like the two best teams in the AFL. Again, Gold Coast are obviously around there as well, and Geelong I think they're very, very good. Hawthorn are still very good. There's a lot going on there, but I mean, Fremantle are the team that's like, what the hell is going on to them? I mean, they should not have lost that bad. It was so embarrassing. I don't even know how to like think about this Freo team, because I don't know if it's the coaching or things are just not clicking right now, but I'm watching how they play, and it is one of the most boring game styles I have ever seen in my time watching AFL. You got a guy like Shea Bolton, who I just don't feel like he's being used to what he should be doing, and it's just not working. Everything is not working right now for Freo to what it should be. Like, people have them in the top 4 and then not even in the 8. Like, what is going on here? Again, I think even though this is at Optus, I think Collingwood are going to go over and get the job done, and if they do, I think everyone's going to reassess what is going on with Fremantle right now, because it is just insane, to be honest. Again, the next one on Friday is interesting as well. You got St Kilda versus Carlton, and a lot of people had Carlton top 4. They are not anywhere near what people projected them to be, and a lot of people had St Kilda as like, you know, some people had them bottom 3, and they're way better than what people thought they were going to be. So this is going to be a very good game, because technically you got a team in St Kilda who shouldn't be where they are, and Carlton who shouldn't be where they are according to predictions. But it just shows you what's going on in this AFL season. Again, I think St Kilda actually look really, really good, and I think Ross Lyon, in my opinion, is their coach. I know some people disagree with that, but in my opinion, he is. I actually think they got a really good, underrated young core, and I think they're going to go on free agency and get Lake Lear, Tom De Koning, probably someone else along the line. Again, they're interested in James Warple. They're going to do really good things, I think, next season. I think they're still one season away from that 8, and I think Carlton, I think they are slowly looking better. Had a really bad game the other week, but had a very good game against Geelong. It just depends what Carlton we're going to get on the night, but I'm going to back Carlton in to get a little bit of a, it shouldn't even be said as an upset, but I'm going to have to call it an upset. And yeah, I think they will actually get the job done, funnily enough. I don't know why I've got that feeling. Again, Melbourne versus Hawthorn shouldn't be too much of a discussion right here. I mean, it's at the G on an early Saturday. I think Hawthorn, I mean, they should be better than what I think the ladder is fully saying they are. But I think, yeah, they should beat Melbourne here. They did not look that good against West Coast, especially in the first half. And yeah, Melbourne, they've got a rocky season to go along with. They've also got an underrated young core of players like Langford and, of course, Lindsay coming in as of late that look really good. Winster's obviously there that looks good. A ton of other younger guys on that team as well. Again, I think Hawthorn will get the job done. Essendon versus Sydney now. Yeah, it's like the same situation as St Kilda versus Carlton. Essendon are probably way higher than they thought they were going to be. Sydney are way lower than they thought they were going to be. So that's another interesting one. But like the Carlton game, I'm going to have the team that was supposed to be way better get the win here. I think Sydney will get the win, but I'm wondering if Essendon, how it's going to look, because Essendon have had a couple close games against really bad teams. Haven't looked that bad against some good teams. I wonder if this is just going to be a really close outing. This could be a very close game in my opinion, but I think Sydney should come away with the chocolates. Again, Gold Coast versus Western Bulldogs. The Dogs, holy crap, they look absolutely insane. Bevo is coaching out of his mind. There's not really much of a knock on the Dogs team right now. Again, you would probably still rather a more consistent key, backman lineup, because you got Liam Jones going on the twos, Rory Lobb going and playing forward sometimes now. I do wonder if the instability of them continuously changing their backline is going to cost them. Again, we know Beveridge in the last couple of years has struggled to find a legitimate, consistent backline that he likes. So that's interesting there. Again, obviously, they are taking on the Gold Coast Suns at Tio, or Tio. I think it's Tio. I don't freaking know. It's in Northern Territory. And Gold Coast obviously have had a very good record there. They seem to be a very good team at playing in the heat as well. I don't think the Gold Coast Suns are going to lose this, but the Dogs are looking so goddamn good. But it's also like, so are the Suns. The Suns, they, in my opinion, should probably be a top 4 team. I think their list is absolutely stacked. They are pretty much the best coach in the game, who won the most flags outside of Clarko. And he's got the game style that's revolutionised how the AFL's seen today. So many game styles like Clarko and Sam Mitchell and, of course, Craig McRae. Obviously, taking bits and pieces from his game style and using it in their own. Adam Kingsley, Andrew McQualter, even Adam Uze now with the small forwards. Again, Dimmer revolutionised that Mosquito fleet, fast-paced, of course, footy that's just, not every disposal has to be perfect. Great coach. Yeah, they should probably make the 4 Gold Coast, but it's gonna be interesting to see. Again, I think they'll get the win here against the Dogs though. We have the showdown game, Port Adelaide versus Adelaide. This is one that I really debated who I'm gonna go with here, because Port, they did get smashed, but they've had some good games where they look alright. Adelaide though are trying to be a top 8 team, literally trying to be a top 4 team. I think as well, Adelaide have had a kind of good history, I think, against Port Adelaide on the showdown game. Even when Port Adelaide were a much better team, Adelaide was still getting wins over them at showdown. And I don't know why that is. I've always wondered if it's just how the Adelaide game style works, if it just matches well against Port Adelaide. But I'm actually going to have Adelaide winning, not only just because they're the best team in this game, but they're also, I think they've had a good history against Port Adelaide, which is really weird. Again, a funny, interesting game was Richmond versus West Coast on the Sunday. Yeah, I would say this is going to be West Coast's one of their only chances to get a win. But in saying that, watching them against Melbourne, I thought Melbourne were a lot worse against them than they were against Richmond. And Melbourne only beat Richmond by 20. And obviously, they were able to kind of steam away from West Coast at the end and win by 32. And if the game kept going for a little bit more, they probably would have started to blow them out. Again, the interesting thing about West Coast right now is their list it's at an all-time worst, which I don't know how it's come to this, but all I'm going to say is I think if Jeremy McGovern misses against Richmond, it should be a lock loss, but we will see. So many things have happened this season, but I just think Richmond have so much more stability in their team. Their backline is elite. Like, their backline is a top 8, I think, best backline in the game. Everything else for them is probably bottom 3, but their backline is very, very good, especially with Noah Bolter there, and he will be playing against West Coast in this game because it's at 110s, I believe. So, yeah, that will be a very tough one for West Coast to win. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, especially if McGovern doesn't play. I just can't see them getting the win. So I'm going to tip Richmond here. Again, Geelong versus the Giants at GMHBA. Geelong coming off that good win against the Pies. I'm gonna tip Geelong here, but GWS still look pretty. They look pretty good. GWS season's in a interesting state. Probably not where they want it to be. They probably saw themselves as like a top 4 lock right now, and It's not necessarily where they are. Again, so that's going to be an interesting one. North Melbourne versus Brisbane, though. I think it's at Tasmania, Ninja Stadium. I'm not even too sure. Is that the sponsor, like that creamy ice cream thing, and you make it in the Ninja thing? Is that what this Ninja sponsorship is, or is this just some Ninjago or something sponsoring the stadium? I actually legitimately have no clue. But the thing is that Brisbane should get the job done here quite convincingly. I mean, North, I don't think they look good at all. They are a really interesting team because they should be so much further ahead of this rebuild, but they've refused to draft anything other than like midfielders with their top picks. I think it was like the last 12 top 10 picks, like 9 or 10 of them. I think it was 10 of them have been inside midfielders, which doesn't make any sense. Because I watched them play the other week against Essendon, and all their half forwards are midfielders, like all their half backs are midfielders. Their wings are like inside midfielders. It's the most weird looking team. They haven't drafted any top tier small forwards, any top tier key forwards, any top tier key defenders. It is the weirdest rebuild I've nearly ever seen. I don't know what they're doing, but I don't think they're going to get the job done against Brisbane here. I think Brisbane should probably take care of them quite comfortably, but we'll have to definitely wait and see. Again, I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this in the comments section down below. Do you guys think that, my tips are good this week? Do you guys disagree with them? What do you disagree with? Again, I'd very much like to know. Subscribe to my gaming channel, which will be getting linked in the description down below. My sports channel, which is this one, for all the latest AFL content and news. And I guess I'll be seeing you guys next time. Goodbye.